ironic.
You know the truth is the truth, that's all I know. Cry loud and spare not, you gon' get exposed. A few real niggas left, you not one of those. Real soldiers, we was born to stand 10 toes. If he ain't one West, that nigga not one of mine. He got a purple 12, me, I got a black 9. The truth is the wife of my youth, chopper my concubine. Had to die to get my rib, that bitch forever mine. You know the game, a bishop gotta be blameless. But GMS teaching niggas to be rapists. They screaming we snitch. When Joey Morgan was killed by your brother, y'all ain't say shit. Real prophets only dwell in the UPK, PSA, we don't sign NDAs. Real prophets only dwell in the UPK, PSA, we don't sign NDAs.
Hey, 100 deep, 100 shields on, that's 100 priests. 100 boots, that's 200 feet. Tongue like a sword when I fucking speak. Teach you how to fish instead of fucking leech. Stop selling drugs instead of trying to fuck with me. Knowledgeable, but I'm rude in my fucking speech. Life is about warfare, not no fucking peace. Hey bitch, I cry loud when I fucking speak. Make them wait a year before they fuck with me. Turn a street nigga to a fucking priest. Cross a priest and I promise you forever sleep.
Hey, shalom. Y'all Bashim Yasha Brakatham to all my Akim.
Hey, shalom. Yabashim Yasha Brakatah.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Hey, shalom. Yahal Shamar Tham Bahashim Yasha to the Agawati. And hey, you see, we got the heavy hitters in the building, so we gonna go by rank. Of course, we got Captain Marquardt. You know what I'm saying? The building from the Round Table of Truth. You know what I'm saying?
Man, right, appreciate you having me, y'all. Appreciate you brothers having me.
You know what I'm saying? He capping. We just the duets. We the biggie duets that's just behind him. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, y'all
Hey,
brothers powerful as hell, man.
You know what I'm saying? We got the sister. I see you looking fresh, sister. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a chance to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, sis. Go ahead, do your thing.
Hi, my name is Kiera, and I am the creator of Before Money Bay. You may have not heard of it, but it's a platform on Instagram that I started in 2015. And originally, the platform, I use entertainment to draw in the people. And once George Floyd got murdered, I completely switched my content. Majority of my followers stayed because they appreciated just me putting out information that they didn't know. And I didn't just do it for one day. I was consistent. So most of my following did say, majority did leave. The ones who were just there for the entertainment, I would post before and after pictures of women who had got plastic surgery, but I wasn't, for the plastic surgery. I was promoting women to be natural, to embrace their bodies, to love themselves.
Right.
But
right.
you know how.
Up.
Thank you. You know how people are. Like, they'll say that they like the natural stuff, but they were mainly there just for entertainment and to gossip. So when I had the opportunity to switch my content, I took it immediately, and that's what I've just been focused on since then. So that's a little bit about me. I'm from California, born and raised in LA, just an LA girl who started learning more information about just life, like around 16. I grew up Christian in the Christian church, like most Black people. But I moved out of LA and started living in the suburbs, and there was nothing else to do. It was just learn and read or get into mess. So I just chose to educate myself. So that's why I made the comment about, getting a degree, and education in general is extremely important, especially for women, because there's so much things that you can get caught up in, especially in the ages of like 14 to 21, that you don't have to if you have something else to focus on.
Right. Well, I listen. I'm gonna let the brothers introduce themselves before we get started, if y'all could.
Come. Officer of 5,000 yard dime from the Chicago school, ISUPK under Commander Junior Hunter. You know what I'm saying?
Precinct officer 1,000 my yard, Chicago School, under leadership of Commander General Yohana and Captain Marquardt.
Damn right, most high in
Yeah.
Christ.
And you, I'm the brother you spoke to, Kazak Mob Officer 1,000 of the ISUPK under Commander Jerry and Hunter.
I'm also officer of 1,000 Awaja, ISUPK under Commander General Yohana.
All right.
And if I could, Kazak, if you don't mind,
Hold on, what con, sir?
it says I'm not sure how familiar you are with the ISUBK, but what we do is since 1969 we've been educating so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians on what our true identity is, which is the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. And so by us knowing our identity, we are a biblically based organization, but we do use other forms of history, you know what I mean, to back up what the Bible says or whatever the case may be. And so our intentions and our job is to go out and not only educate our people who we are, but offer a solution to the many problems that we have as Black people and Black and brown people.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you cold-heartedly. You know what I'm saying? I would never tell my daughter not to get a degree. That post that I made, man, it had about 300 shares.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sisters, they took it the wrong way. They took it as though I'm saying not to get a degree.
Right.
And that's totally not what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But we understand in the ISUBK under Commander Jenny Hunter that if you're going to fix Black people, we all come with many different talents and gifts. But if you're going to fix us, we have to start off with the structure, you know, with a structure, you know what I'm saying? And that structure can be found in the Holy Bible, which is our records. You understand? And so therefore we use that as our basis, you know what I mean, to fix each other. You know what I mean? So we've been doing this since 1969. We got schools all over.
Mm-hmm.
As the brother we on this podcast right here, I want to thank the brother again for inviting me on the podcast. I also want to say thank you to the sister as well for joining us. But we sitting here at our podcast table as well, which is called the Round Table of Truth. I hope you can join us every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central.
That's
you
right.
understand? We get it in, and what we do is we don't want to be just one of those podcasts that just talk about the problems of Black people. You know, we're a podcast where we talk about the problem, but we come with the solution.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To the
Okay.
problem. So, you know, just as an opening statements or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, Salaki, if I may. Is it on that post? Says it was something that you said that gravely concerned me, and I just had to, I guess, give you a short interview before we really got off into the topic of debate or conversation or whatever you want to call it. Where you
Yes.
me and you was conversing and you made the comment saying that children oppress us. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't sure if it was just only kids that you was aiming at with that, or Black men oppress you as well, or the Black family, or you feel like you should get your education and don't worry about family until later. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a chance to I guess respond about that. But yeah, I was just
Yes.
wondering when I seen that post, it concerned me, so I'm gonna let you answer that.
Well, children are a huge responsibility and they
Yeah.
require
Mm-hmm.
so much from both parents. And as a woman, if you're not prepared for motherhood, then you really shouldn't be having children, because what are you raising? If you're ignorant and you're going out and you're carelessly getting pregnant and you're trying to raise a child when you don't really know much yourself, all of the stress that's going to come with that is definitely oppression, not even just for the mother, but also for the child and the father. The whole family. Like, if you have a village, that's going to be grandma under more stress, sisters, aunts, cousins, grandpa, whoever is trying to help this woman who doesn't know much of anything to raise this child,
Yep.
that's oppression for everyone. So it's not that you shouldn't have a family and be a wife and have children, but there's so much that women don't learn in the teenage and their early adulthood that really needs to be dealt with, because we
Absolutely.
can't keep having this problem. You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of children are being raised solely by their mothers, and we see how that's turning out. So there has to be something done before they're married or have children. Just because you can physically have children doesn't mean that you should be. You know, you may think, well, hey, my body is capable. That's fine. But you're mentally unstable, you're emotionally unstable, you're spiritually lost. You don't have a stable place to stay. You don't even have reliable transportation. You're living at home. Why are you even thinking about a man and a child? There's so many other things that you need to be focused on, or you think it's bad now. It's going to get way worse if you bring a child into the situation. And most of my audience has been women. I say about 70% women. Out of that 70%, probably 55% Black women. So I hear the things that they say, you know, and it's not just a few here and there. It's majority having the same problems. They say the same things, and something needs to be done. And I think
That's right.
that you know, it starts more so in the early stages. If no one is paying attention to this young woman as she's growing up, of course she's going to start looking for love. And then if she gets pregnant, it's
Hold
just
on, sis. Before you go too deep, I don't want no
okay.
brothers to forget the stuff that you're saying. You know what I'm saying from the beginning. I don't want
Yep.
you to
Yeah.
because we want to be able to discuss every topic that you know what I'm saying hitting on. So in the beginning,
Okay.
and I'm gonna bring it right to you. I just want to reiterate.
Man, do your thing. Hey, Kazak, if you could, before you
So
do that, I got people asking me where can they watch this at?
okay, so they can watch it on our YouTube, or if they have let me get the YouTube for you, so I get
Okay, no sweat.
so the YouTube is Word to the Unwise. That'll be at Word the number 2 THE. That's all together, no space dash unwise. There are no spaces in that. All right, so again, that's Word the number 2 the dash unwise. You can watch it right on YouTube. And
So for the listeners out there, word to the wise on YouTube. You can
Word
go
to the
check
Unwise, sir.
word to the unwise. Salaki.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
said, if they go to the Windy City page, I put the link up on the Windy City page, so to take them
well.
right to the YouTube.
Okay.
Talmud Khan.
Most sign correct.
Hey, the
Go ahead,
water.
Kazak. Salaki.
All right. So you were saying, you were speaking about how sisters, basically they're not prepared to be worried about a child or thinking about a man at a time, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
we gonna give a go round discussion with that. You know, of course, starting with Captain Marquardt. So as far as women not being prepared, I mean, you mean like financially, mentally, spiritually, like in all cases, right?
Yeah, you know, at that age where we see a lot of women getting pregnant, especially in our community, they're
So
not really ready for that. With
give us
they
an age, like you said that age. What age you mean?
um I've know some women who've gotten pregnant at 12 years old. So it starts early. You know, if they're getting neglected, you know, maybe I'll say 25, from 12 to 25. That's the average ages that we see women just getting pregnant. And you know, that
All right, so we can
they're not ready.
we can go from there. Cap, you take it away,
No,
sir.
no sweat. So what the sister said was true. Our daughters and our young women are totally unprepared, you know what I'm saying, for a marriage and for motherhood. But this is where Commander General Yohana and the teachings of the UPK come into play. Because where does a young woman first learn how to be prepared for a marriage? From the structure of a family.
Mm-hmm.
And as black people, we have got away from the importance, besides the Most High, you know what I'm saying, obeying the Lord and keeping his laws, statutes, commandments, that for a human being, especially for us, the next important thing is family. Family is the most important thing. And so if a young girl is going to learn the importance of, you know what I'm saying, what it is to be a wife and what it is to be a mother, she's going to learn that from the structure of her home. The problem is, since the 70s, and of course we went over the statistics, you know what I'm saying, white supremacy had an all-out assault attack, you know what I'm saying, on the black family. Because what happened in the 60s is when black families together and you're teaching your sons and daughters about, you know, their racial pride and educating them well, they caused the uproar. There was over 167 race riots during the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So this devil, you know, came up with a way, you know what I'm saying, to decimate the black family. And since we've been in a downward spiral ever since the structure of the black family has been broken up.
Right.
So when a daughter's coming up, what must she see? She must see the interaction between the father and the mother, how they interact with one another. You understand how they, you know, how the mother take care of the children, how she, you know what I'm saying, how her role with the father. You know, these are very, very important things to learn. The problem is our daughters, you know what I'm saying, they don't learn that. They growing up in these single mother homes, you know what I'm saying? Let's just lay it where it's at, you know what I'm saying? Which is the worst thing. They always tell you, you know, that's the worst thing that can happen to a young boy, but that's the worst thing that can happen to a young girl as well, because all she going to do is repeat the cycle, you know what I'm saying? And the problem is our women is going chasing degrees, and they chasing, you know, whatever career they had. And I would never tell a woman not to get a career. But here's what we got to remember. While they chasing that career, they're going out and having casual sex with men.
Right.
You understand? And when they go out, when a woman goes out and have casual sex with multiple men, you understand, now it's a whole nother demon about to enter into this woman's brain.
Right.
She went with this man, that man, that man, that man. Meanwhile, she's chasing a degree though.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And she doesn't even understand that sex in itself, according to God, not my words, but according to the Bible, sex is marriage.
That's right.
You let a man penetrate you, that is your husband. Now, if we go back to the rules, if we go back to these rules and teach our daughters, do not let a man is not to touch you unless he is ready to spend the rest of his life with you.
That's right.
The same thing with our sons. You don't touch a woman unless you are ready to spend the rest of your life with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Overnight, we fix the structure of black people, and we won't have children out there making bad decisions. They making bad decisions because they were left to raise themselves.
Yeah,
the worst thing that could happen to the black community is for women and children to raise themselves and take the black man out of the home.
Yeah,
a woman would never understand the importance of being in order with a man. She would never understand what the importance of being the mother. Women got to understand this. If you ain't in one with that father, then off top that make you a horrible mother.
Mm-hmm.
Women putting men out the house every day. You know what I'm saying? Right then and there, you have made the worst decision in the world for your children.
Right.
So I want other brothers to chime in as well. But I just want to, start with that statement.
And if I could, Cap,
go ahead.
And to Cap's point, like, we live in a society nowadays where you cannot correct a black woman. No matter what you see her doing. If she's dancing on a strip pole, leave her alone.
Mm-hmm.
If she's out prostituting herself on the street, selling her body for money, leave her alone.
Mm-hmm.
If she's beating her children, leave her alone. If she takes a good man, runs him into the ground, throw him out the house, leave her alone. Mm-hmm. We live in a society where our sisters cannot be corrected. And if you try to correct our sister, you get attacked on every different side.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, our sisters are completely out of control. You know what I mean? And shout out to the sisters that have themselves together. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the sisters that are not out here wilding out, are not out here being a bad example of not only blackness, but of black womanhood. You know what I mean? That's not trying to be a sexy red. That's not trying to be on stage twerking, or every time you see her, she taking a picture with her behind facing the camera. But you want me to consider your mind, but you lead with your behind. You know what I mean? And then our women are the only women on this planet that claim that they're independent and that they don't need a man. You don't see any other race of women doing that. And that's been pumped into the head and the spirit of our sisters. And like Cap said, that's a demon that's been put in our sister's spirit, and it destroys us as a nation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because our women are the first teachers of children.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? The first thing that a child learns from, whether it's a male child or a female child, is its mother. The mother imprints on the child. So if the mother has a wild, uncontrolled, whorish, unruly, relentless, rebellious spirit, it's going to imprint that spirit on the child. There's not, and we live in a society now where Black women are darn near forbidden to think that it's okay just to be a mother and a wife. You know what I mean? There's me personally, I take my situation. My rib is pregnant. You know what I'm saying? About to have a child in a couple months, and hey, the water, sir. You know what I mean? And she's going to, once she finishes, she passed her MCATs. Once we have this baby, she's going to go back and finish medical school and become a doctor. There are sisters in the UPK that are nurses, doctors, lawyers. They have children. They are mothers. They are wives, and they have degrees, and they make money. You know what I mean? But the thing we celebrate them for all these high degrees and all that education, but they pride themselves on being terrific mothers and great sisters. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's taught in the ISUPK on the Commander General Yohana is brotherhood, sisterhood, husbandry, and wifistry. You know what I'm saying? And shall I get, sir?
No, go ahead, finish your point. I just want to go after you though.
And our brothers and sisters inside of this organization, we're the only organization, we are the blackest organization on the planet. And we're the only organization that is truly dedicated to correcting the Black family. You know what I'm saying? Starting at the head, which is the man, and then also the woman. And if we get that man and woman in line, the kids will be in line. If you can't get them kids in line, we'll help you get them kids in line, because we're trying to recreate our power structure and our nation back in this earth the way it is supposed to be. So
Right.
And you know, I just wanted to add to what the brother is saying. And sis, what you were saying was not wrong. It is horrific for some man to take hold of a young sister, right? But also being said, education can't stop that. But family can. A man being in that sister's life can stop that. You know what I'm saying? To where he's not going to allow. The scripture says that you must first bind the strong man. And then once you do that, you can take over his house. You understand? But when that man has brothers as well, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to do such a thing.
If I could, because I just wanted to say this one thing, Salakia. But my yard said something heavy, like the woman is the first teacher of the child. The problem is our women are teaching our daughters and our son. First thing they teaching them is to hate their father. When that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing that you could do to our children is to hate the very source in which they come from. You see what I'm saying? So now when they grow up, they're gonna go up, they left to make decisions on their own. That's why you don't remove a man out of the house. The Lord said this in the Bible: a woman is bound to her husband so long as he liveth. And the Lord put that in there for a reason. Why? So when a young girl grows up to be 17, 18, and she's growing into womanhood, it ain't her, it's not supposed to be left on her to make a decision on who to marry. We can't see that these women don't, that's why they end up with 15, 20 different men, because they being left with to make a decision that they should not be left with. A father is supposed to say, listen, this the brother whom you gonna marry. But yet these our daughters, because we ain't got going back to the structure of the family, because we ain't got the structure of the family, and we done let this white man convince us that we don't need to be together. You know what I'm saying? And now our sons and daughters is going out there making horrible decisions. Salaki, because I
could make one quick point. One quick point, and I'm gonna send it back your way to the sister. Okay, so the one aspect that I'm seeing too that we have not touched on is the aspect of when a woman makes a decision to have sex before she's ready and different things like that, and gets with child, the number of abortions that, you know what I'm saying, our young sisters is having. Now this is something that we cannot negate. You know what I'm saying? When we talking about, do you choose a career and you choose your education, when you lay down and you have sex and you do get with child, you have to take on that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? If you do not take on that responsibility, then you are creating a list of bad decisions to come behind that, because you feel like you can just clean up your problems whenever you create things. You don't have to deal with none of the decisions that you're making for your life.
And meanwhile, these women chasing a degree, they committing genocide. Our women are wiping out our whole race. You know what I'm saying? Chasing a degree because they've been taught in this place that a degree is more important. You know what I'm saying? When that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like the sister said, and sister, we're not attacking you at all, sis. You know what I'm saying? We just, when it comes to the issue of fixing our people, is you ain't gonna find another organization or a group of black men that's more passionate about the brothers in the ISUBK.
That's
We're just not gonna find it. You see what I'm saying? And so, I might have lost my point. I'm sure it'll come back to me. Go ahead, Kazaka. We done cut Kazaka right off. No, right? It's his show.
No sweat. But y'all was hitting on the point that I was getting to, because when you think about our oppressor, we all know who that is. You know what I'm saying? The UBK, we never ashamed to say the white man's the goddamn devil. The Bible.
That's right.
And our oppressor, notice what he attacked. He attacked the black family. He was cool with integration when you can come into his schools. Cool, come get this education. You know what I'm saying? But we must get rid of that black family. You have to stop to ask yourself why. You know what I mean? And that's because without that black family being intact, he can come in and train up your family how he so chooses. He give you welfare. Now you got a financial backing that you felt like a black man couldn't give you, and they removed him out the home. You know what I'm saying? You have instances like Dr. Antoinette Bailey, you know what I'm saying, who committed suicide. And these are what they would call high profile sisters, or highly educated sisters, to where they didn't have that family backing. You know what I'm saying? And they committed suicide. So education is not going to save our sisters from the things that's preying on them in this world. You understand? And that's why the brother mentioned his rib. You know what I'm saying? She's able to come be a mother, go back and get her degree and come be something amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because she have family back at her. You know what I'm saying? You can go to the man, the woman, the child, but then what about the rest of the family, that village that they talk about? You know what I'm saying? It's a power structure that we have always won by, coming out of slavery, that family. You know what I'm saying? Black Wall Street, that family. These wasn't highly educated people. These were people of family businesses is how we thrive. Education.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that education is a bad thing or is a minor thing, but with that family, it's very much so easier. And I understand what you're saying, sis, when you say that they're not ready. They don't have anything that I just named, and that's why. That's why in the ISUPK, we are so big on giving our sisters that backing that they need. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people here they'll say, "Oh, a man, your head, a man, yeah, a man is her head." The person that is willing to give their life for you on the drop of a dime should be your head. It's his job to die for you. Why not listen to that brother? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes our sisters, well, I ain't gonna say sometimes, in this society, in this kingdom that we live in, that we live under, our sisters have been made high and mighty. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for them to give up that power that they feel like they had. But that's the only thing that's going to fix it. When they start turning to the priests and prophets of the Most High God, ISUPK, we'll be able to and bring them back to a state of mind to where they know the rankings of a household and an important family. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right. Heavy point.
If I could, sis, I just wanted to ask you, like, because that post is going viral, you know what I mean? And a lot of sisters have they done pulled their weave out, they done stomped on their wig, you know what I'm saying? And they like, how dare he say that?
It's like it. She is the only sister I was able to comment and get an answer that wasn't out of control. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, listen, that post you dropped, He like, look, I already know, man. I've been getting notifications all week.
Notifications going crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But you literally was the only one that was that can contain yourself enough to even have this conversation. I tried like 5 people on that post. It just wasn't working. It's like,
no, so I wanted to ask you, sis, like, honestly,
Yes.
like when you saw the post, I mean, I know you spoke about the different sisters that you deal with, like, and you know, that you've spoken to. When you saw that post, honestly, how did it make you feel personally? Like, what feelings or emotions or thoughts did it provoke in you when you very first saw it? What was your reaction and how did it make you feel?
My very first reaction was just education. Like, education is important. It just made me feel like, you know, sometimes, you know, our men, they don't understand the stress of being a wife and a mom. So, you know, there's so, you know, women are under a lot of stress. And another thing that I wanted to touch on is, you know, the health of the women. You know, a lot of, they say 80% of Black women are either overweight or obese. And out of that 80%, 50% are obese. And a lot of that is coming from stress eating, and hormones. Their hormones are not balanced.
Right.
So, you know, the more children you have, you know, the more responsibility you're taking on. And if you don't have time to go to the gym, eat healthy, meal prep, you know, do some Pilates or whatever, you know, even just go for a walk, because you have so many other people to take care of, you know, your health is going to suffer. You are going to put yourself at a higher risk for high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, cancers, especially if you're trying to feed everyone, yourself, your husband, your children, and you're not able to buy organic food, or you can't, you know, go to Whole Foods because there's no Whole Foods where you live, or it may be an hour away.
Right.
And if you're relying on fast food to feed yourself and your family, or if you're just cooking, you know, what's available, then that's not only going to take effect on your health, but also your household effect, you know? So it's so many things that women go through that they just don't talk about. They just stay quiet, or, you know, they just agree because they don't want to ruffle feathers, or, you know, they don't want to stir up any controversy. But these things are important. Like, we can literally see that something is not right.
Damn right. Damn right.
Get a sister a hand.
You know?
Damn right.
Damn right.
Listen, if I may, sis, just if I could just chime in on your point, you know what I'm saying? Like, we would never, you know what I'm saying, tell our daughters, you know, not to get education. You know, they should get their education, of course. But the education that our sisters must get before they get the white man's education, they got to get the Lord's education first. Sis. And the Lord's education could be found in that Bible, which is our culture. Like, we are people that been here 400 years, and because we don't have our identity, because we don't have our culture, being in slavery alone is going to cause mental illness. Right. You understand? Like, the oppression, you know what I'm saying, that's being put on us, and a lot of the oppression is the things that we're being taught. And our women are being taught that they don't need a man. And the sad part is, you know, where that's being echoed out of the Christian church. Right. The one place that's supposed to be teaching us morality is telling women that it's okay to be single. Right. And so now this going to cause when a woman is left alone with children, she's being left with a responsibility that she should not have on her own. That's right. But you can't have it both ways. You see what I'm saying? Our women got to start coming out saying they got to listen. It's going to take some humility. We was all in the world living horrible lives, but we in the truth now. It took some humility for us to change and for us to be up here saying what we saying. And here's one thing that Black women gonna have to learn to do. they're gonna have to learn to humble themselves.
That's right.
I mean, greatly.
Right.
Humble themselves so much that we don't want to hear no more about I don't need no man, because it's obviously that you need one. You needed one to be born. You understand what I'm saying? You damn sure need one to raise. Our daughters need a father to be raised. A woman needs a husband. These are things, you know what I'm saying, that are needed. You understand? In order so a woman won't be walking around with, because guess what? Just like that woman suffering from mental illness and problems, that black man is too.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Which is why we need to lean on each other.
Right.
Which is why we need to be together and stop letting our oppressor, you know what I'm saying, separate us, you know what I'm saying, with the different things that he put out on the radio and TV and all these different things. We have to put an end to that. And our women need to start saying, I need a man. That need to be the new thing, y'all.
Hey, Comic-Con.
We need to put that on a t-shirt. Listen, a lot of black women there be fighting. No, I don't want to put that on. Put it on, sis. Right. Sisters need to start to be a thing in the black and Hispanic community. Mm-hmm. I need a man. I need a man.
Comic-Con.
And man, when we had that, we're gonna be in the game. Go ahead, Kazak. I'm sorry.
I was gonna get right to the point. According to nixwell.co.uk, if you they did a study, casual sex linked to depression and anxiety. So when you speak about that obesity and you speak about all that other stuff, that casual sex that these sisters be having and these brothers be having, you know what I'm saying? It's no such thing as casual sex.
That's
right. You know what I'm saying? You are destroying yourself mentally, spiritually, health wise, all of that. Well, physically, you know what I'm saying? Said the news story is based on research into the sexual behavior and mental well-being of almost 4,000 heterosexual U.S. college students. So when they go off into that educational realm, if they ain't got that those morals instilled to them by family and by the Most High God of this Bible, you know what I'm saying? Like we learned in the UPK.
That's right.
They're all into that casual sex realm because all they doing is partying, taking drugs, and having casual sex in them schools. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I knew brothers. I don't know about y'all, but I know brothers that they only went. They didn't even attend college. They went up to the college for the parties and the casual.
Yeah, Comic-Con. I was one of them brothers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that causes anxiety and depression, and this stuff causes you to eat, and so it's very important that. I know you're gonna but they keep stressing the man being in it because it's an important thing. Who's the biggest disciplinary? You know what I'm saying? You will see kids to where the mama say sit down 60 times, and then she'll say it one more time, and the father walks in the room and they sit the hell down. You know what I'm saying? And he can even open his mouth. You know what I'm saying? When I'm gonna go tell your daddy, and the child is crying before he can even get on the phone good. You know what I'm saying? He's the biggest disciplinary. You know what I'm saying? He keeps them in check. You know, I never smoked a cigarette in my life because I was afraid of what my father do to me. My father old now. I'm still afraid of him getting mad at me. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to have that father there to instill these things. You know what I'm saying? The mother, she nurtures, and that's her job. She shouldn't be out here being masculine, trying to yell and you know what I'm saying, get stuff together. Let her be delicate in her femininity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with that being said, sis, a lot of the problems that you see, education can't fix, and that's really what I really wanted to get at, because I don't want you to feel like we stuck in a realm where we gotta oppress each other. She putting us on child support, he beating on her, these kids is wild. Now let's correct the family. Let's stop saying, oh, the black woman this, and let's stop saying, oh, the black man that, and let's just say let's understand each other.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And let's have a better standpoint than we do. You know what I'm saying? Than we have had over these last few years, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's gonna fix the black community once we get off into these scriptures and learn. I know you say you grew up Christian. I don't want you to confuse us with Christians. You're gonna hear us talk about the Bible, but we'll never say anything Christian. You know what I'm saying? Don't confuse us with the two. The Bible has nothing to do with Christianity. You know what I'm saying? They have destroyed our people, and here we are having to clean up the mess that they caused. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Education, like that's the must. The family is the must, and then education. Because I'm gonna give you something else that you probably hadn't thought about. What about the connections that's needed within the black family? within the community. If you look at all these other nations of people, the Chinese, he got connections. The Jewish, they got connections. That's why you can get a Jewish lawyer, because he know the judge. You know what I'm saying? He know the lawyers. He know all. We don't have those connections. We go and get an education and forget about everybody else. We go and get an education, and it dies with us because you don't have kids. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a husband. You don't have a family to pass those connections on. We need those connections as well. You know what I'm saying? Salakia, sir.
Damn right. You brought a hell of a point. You know what I'm saying? And if I may, sister, I'd like to ask you, what type of family background do you come from? Because I noticed you seem very humble. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right.
It seems like, you know what I mean, you have a very humble, spirit about yourself, which is what our sisters need, you know what I'm saying, if they want to learn. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to learn. So I just wanted to ask, what type of family structure did you come from?
My parents lived down the street from each other before they became my parents. So I had a very close-knit family. Everyone was on the same street. Okay. And then, so, I'm the oldest child of 8.
That's so what's up.
Yes, I had a lot of responsibility, just being the oldest child, being a daughter. But I was also the only child for quite a while. So I was just able to be around a lot of adults and learn how to conduct myself.
There you go.
That's mainly what it was. And my grandparents, they were entertainers. My grandma sung, and my grandfather was her manager, and that's just the life that they lived. And my grandparents on my dad's side, my grandmother, she was a teacher, and my grandfather, he was a chef. So my upbringing was very diverse. I learned a lot just from having the grandparents that I had. Mainly, they all did something different. I have a lot of aunts and a lot of uncles who they adored me as a child. So I had a very good childhood. I don't have any complaints about my childhood.
And then, if I may, so just real quick, how do you feel about your father?
I think that my father, he's a good person, but he has a lot of responsibility, and he still does, and he did then. So he couldn't give the attention equally to all of the children.
Yeah.
But
you do love your father.
Oh yeah, of course. I do love my father. He never laid a finger on me. He's done many things for me. We've had disagreements, when I was a teenager and stuff. Yeah. But for the most part, my mom never talked down about my dad or anything like that. So I didn't grow up thinking that my dad was a bad person. Like a lot of kids do. Their mom is just yapping all day about the dad.
Right. So that's a start.
I didn't experience that. That wasn't my experience, but I know that that's not, common in our community. Right. A lot of times you do see a lot of, children express that they have hatred for their father. And a lot of times it starts with the hatred that the mother has for the father. But I didn't get that.
Well, listen, the reason I ask, because normally when a woman is humble as this sister is, it's because she had a father. You see what I'm saying? Because I got 5 daughters, and listen, I stay on their tail. You know what I'm saying? Like white on rice about the things that they doing wrong, and I praise them for the things that they doing right. And my point in saying that is that if you have daughters that they don't learn to get correction, you know what I'm saying, from a man, then they're going to have a hard time getting in a relationship with a masculine man that's going to correct them. If our daughters never see that, then when they get into a marriage, the minute, they hear a man ain't even got to be yelling. Right. He could just be talking. And just the bass in his voice, they got an issue with, because they grow up in this unhealthy environment, which is single parent home, and they don't understand. These women have no clue. You know, I was telling the brothers, Yaradan, right before we started the show, Young M.A., Young Miami, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. She just came out and said, you know what I'm saying, she now wants a family. You see what I'm saying? After, you know, bearing her naked behind all over the internet, been with Puff Daddy and this rapper and that rapper. You know, I'm not really sure the sister's history. I can only assume. You see what I'm saying? But now she's ready for marriage when she thinks she's ready for marriage. But the problem is when our sisters, they go through a whole, you know, time period, then they reach an age and then they be ready for what's natural to them. And it's natural. It's supposed to be natural for a young girl to want to have a husband and have a family. The problem is America rob our women of that by telling them, go chase this career, go do this. You see what I'm saying? And totally rob them of their womanhood. And that got to stop. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And sister, to bounce off of Cap's point, you have to really, like, it takes a lot of analytical thinking, and it takes a very, very perceptive eye to realize that the only women that they're pushing that to is black women, black and Hispanic women. Black and brown women are the ones they push that to, but especially the black woman, because if you look,
remember that photo? I think we went over it, where they showed all the white women showing their engagement ring at the graduation. This at the graduation,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they ain't waiting to, you know, 10 years down the line before they get married.
Fresh out of high school.
Fresh out of high school or doing college. But meanwhile, they telling our women, oh man, forget that nigga, go get a career. You know what I'm saying? Wait till you get a job. And a woman, she a lot of our sisters, they 40. They 40 years old talking about now I'm ready for
settle down, right?
So and like it was just to piggyback on what you was just saying. You know, we did a lot of discussions about this sister Erica K. Williams.
Right? Oh yeah.
A minute ago, she came out with telling young sisters, don't wait until you don't focus solely on your career. You gotta focus on relationships early on. Don't be like me, basically. Because she at a point to where she's 40 and her 40s, and now she want to have children and a man, and she can't find one.
And here's the problem: they wait. They make our so they put that in front of our sisters, like you said, Cap. Our Caucasian Edomite counterparts. They marrying fresh out of high school. We look at movies all the time about marrying your high school sweetheart. This is a sweet little love story or some comedy or dramedy. You know what I mean? But then they come in life and they push what our so-called leaders, because now we don't have leaders, we got celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Tough. And our celebrities are telling, so our celebrities are telling us, go to the club, get drunk one night. You know what I'm saying? Have sex for one night and move on, girl. You in your 20s, you too young to get married. Our Christian pastors are saying, girl, if you're not equally yoked with him, leave him and go wait until you get another man that's equally yoked. Meanwhile, he's with the choir boy, he's with your grandmother, he's with your auntie, he's trying to get with you. You know what I'm saying?
So what you saying, so you mean to tell me, I want to pass it back to the brother, but you telling me Gorilla and give me another female rapper.
Megan.
So you telling me Gorilla and Megan Stallion are the women that's teaching our women, our young women, on how to be women? We in trouble.
We're in dire straits. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Salakia, that's a damn heavy point, because we are the only people who are being trained up by entertainers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's trying to teach us that we learning from is making money or benefiting off our ignorance. You know what I'm saying? I know they look like us and they got a lot of money, but that money ain't never meant nothing. You know what I'm saying? Hope is rich. You know what I'm saying? But look how many child molestation cases he got. So that money is a wise nor a great person. Look at Steve Harvey. He's not wise nor great. You know what I'm saying? But he told women to think like a man. Why in the hell would I want my child to think
like a man? Right.
Why would I want my wife to think like a man? Yeah, Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? So why in the hell we listen to entertainers? They supposed to be entertainment. Go ahead and do what you do, but you don't give me my morals. You know what I'm
Damn
saying?
right.
You don't give me my way of life. What you do is entertain me with a nice beat and some words to put to it, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? You got what's her name? I'm gonna go with they love Beyonce, the Beehive. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
Lord.
She don't want no scrubs and all of this other stuff. Pack your bags, get out, and all this other stuff. But when Jay-Z was with Becky with the long hair, where'd she go? No goddamn
Right.
where. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But here you are thinking, oh no, I'm gonna lead this man. And do what, sis? Anytime somebody tell our sisters to leave a man, all you should hear is, "Hey, listen, go be a hoe." That's all you should hear when they
That's
say
what
that.
they telling them.
Leave him. They, AKA, go, just go be a hoe. Destroy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because no, those sisters not doing that. Beyonce ain't leave Jay-Z. She stayed right there because she was wise enough to know, but she will destroy your mind as a woman.
Right.
Real talk.
And if I could, sir, I hate to drop
Go
this
ahead.
bomb. It's no secret. The Bible speaks of a man having multiple wives. We gonna touch on this, Cap. If I could, sir.
Go ahead.
The Bible speaks of a man having multiple wives.
Hold on.
He-
You just said what?
It's like you say what?
What you just say? The Bible said what?
The Bible speaks of a man. It is lawful for a man to have multiple wives, which means more than one woman. Here's the thing about your so-called celebrities that you worship and follow so much. The men that they're with, especially the celebrity men that they're with, have dozens of women. Jay-Z and Beyonce got married, and Jay-Z was I read a Vibe magazine article 20-something years ago that was saying that Jay-Z is well known for sleeping with groupies. Okay? So you got all of these successful, what you call high value men that all these sisters are chasing. And all these high value men sleep with multiple women. And if they make you their high value wife, they're going to sleep with a low value woman.
Damn.
Okay? If you want to put it on that level. Because you know why? Monogamy is an oppressor theory that we learned during slavery and our oppression here in America. And when you look at these men and you say, I want this man to be my husband because he makes $1 million a year. This man makes over $100,000 a year. This man makes $500,000 a year. All of these women, when you peel back the public image and you peel back the social media content, they have dealt with so-called cheating since they were dating this man.
Damn.
Beyonce has dealt with Jay-Z having multiple wives. Cardi B has dealt with was it Offset? Offset having multiple women. Megan Thee Stallion, before she got the brother locked up, dealt with him sleeping with more. You cannot point to a celebrity that you worship. You can't point to a relationship that you want to be that relationship and not go back and peel back the cover and realize that the man in that relationship, as great as he is, has slept with multiple women. Unfortunately, in Hollywood, the man might have slept with multiple men too.
Damn.
I had to drop the other shoe. Slaggy.
Hey, Salaki, but I want to add to that because I don't want brothers out here thinking like all y'all brothers need multiple wives. Some of y'all don't need no wife. Some of y'all don't need a wife at all. What you need is a teacher.
There you go.
And understand this: what those brothers did was disgusting only not because they had multiple wives, but because of what they chose to do, how they chose to get them, and what they chose to do with them. The scripture also speaks of not sleeping with a whore. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, you gonna get a Jay-Z when it got a so-called high value woman, and then went and slept with whores.
Right.
You ain't gonna see us doing that. We know better. We train men. We are not natural men. You know what I'm saying? We are wise men. Well, we know every wife I get finna be high value. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna have morals. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna have the wisdom of being a woman of the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't go out and sleep with whores. We ain't looking for no white one night stands, and we ain't bringing what they call it, the package. Remember, Trapped in the Closet, they kept saying the package.
The package.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't bringing the package back home. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Everything is clean. Ain't no confusion with the Most High, man. So a lot of y'all brothers don't hear that like, oh, I got multiple. No, come get your training.
No, you don't. Right.
Come and get your training. You ain't got the training to have multiple wives. They finna get on your nerves. You're gonna be ready to leave one, and that's a sin on your behalf because you can't leave them. All right, man. That's to you brothers out there, man. I heard a lot of brothers. let me finish this one point. I'm gonna pass it.
My bad, sir.
There's a lot of brothers that find that out right there, and they be like, "Oh, I'm finna join y'all, get multiple wives." I'm like, "Oh, nigga, you join here, you gonna go running out the door." You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't ready to handle your one wife yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead, Oxalaki.
Yeah, no, I just want to, if I could, just swing it back real quick or whatever. The heavy, which y'all bringing out so heavy about these entertainers, you know what I'm saying, educating our people on relationships in itself. Like, you need serious men, you know what I'm saying, to teach our people. An entertainer, they there to entertain. That's right. You ain't gonna find another race of people, you know what I'm saying, where they entertainers are they moral leaders. Right. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why we've been put in this position is because the Christian church have failed at the job. Right. Like, they the real entertainers. Right. Yeah, right. The entertainers learn to entertain from the damn church. That's right. But if you're gonna fix a people that's dealing with the mental illness that we have, you know what I'm saying, you need serious men. Yeah, and Commander Jenny and Hannes is a serious brother. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to fixing black people. That's right. So I suggest, you know what I'm saying, if you know possible, research Commander Jenny and Hannes, research the IHBK. Look into what we doing with our people. We ain't just talking the talk. We also got food programs, free classes in every city. You know what I mean? Counseling. Those sisters that dealing with mental illness that you was talking about earlier, we got brothers in here that will counsel them sisters and get them sisters right. Yeah, and if I could just swing it back just on the whole educational aspect, like Maya was bringing out earlier, the women in here, they understand the importance. The number one importance of their livelihood is to be great mothers, is to be, you understand, great wives. Right. And if you look on our Facebook post, it's some sister every other day showing what degree she didn't win and got. Right, sure. What business she didn't win and start. Right. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because human beings, they able to multitask. That's right. But we can't continue to allow our sisters to, you know, jump over motherhood and not, you know what I'm saying, look at the responsibility of being a wife is not important. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we're gonna be in the downward spiral as a people. That's right. You can't have a Black Wall Street, you know what I'm saying, without strong Black families. That's right. You can't have a Black government. You can't have a Black nation. You understand? If the family structure is not intact. And so we got to start there. It's simplicity. Start with the family being intact, you know what I'm saying, with the rules that the Bible has, and we'll fix us one by one. That's right. Damn right.
So, like, if I may, Cap.
Go ahead, Let
me finish. Get that round of applause right there, because that was super heavy. But we have to look at the attack on the Black family, and it has to be for a reason. Abortion came to America just for the Black family.
That's right.
And they brought it here. What was her name?
Margaret Sanger. Yep.
Just to destroy the Black family. And they got us so bad that now we fighting for her cause. She wanted to destroy the Black people by stopping them from producing. And now we got our sisters fighting to destroy themselves. You know what I'm saying? They said the most dangerous place for a Black child right now is in the mother's womb. For all of
right.
It ain't in these streets. It ain't in the trap houses. It ain't in a gang. It ain't in the Christian church with Lil Dylan Roots and all of them shooting up the Christian. It's right there in the womb. We have started hating our children so much that we kill them before they can even live. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that right there shows you that there's an attack on the Black family. So anytime that there's war and they're gonna attack you on all fronts, of course. But look where they got they most powers aimed at. You know what I'm saying? Right there in the Black family. Destroy the babies, destroy the man, destroy the woman, separate the man, separate the woman, stop them from having kids. So it's something right there. The education is a plus to our people, but that family, that's the strength right there. Of course, our power is in the Most High Yahweh, but our right here on earth, what we do is we build. That's why he said, "Go out and be fruitful and multiply."
That's
you know
right.
What I'm saying?
That's right.
He didn't say just go out and be alone, sis. You don't want to be alone till you 60. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why sisters, you'll see them. They 60 years old, 70 years old with 1,000 cats because they looking for companionship. You know what I'm saying? Right. But your companionship should be in that man. You know what I'm saying? That your love should be for your children. Anything in your womb It's of you and of that man, and it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, because a kitten can't do what we could do.
Right.
You stop. You sisters, stop getting them kittens. Stop getting them kittens. Come on, get your line. You know what I'm saying? You be all right.
Right.
Go ahead.
Can I ask, hey sis? Can I ask you a personal question, sis?
Go ahead.
What is your thoughts as far as marriage and different things of that nature for yourself personally?
Right.
I think marriage is beautiful. You know, it's nothing wrong with marriage at all. You know, finding the right husband or the right husband finding you, you know, that's the difficult part, you know, because there's so many men who are pretending to be, you know, they're putting on a mask. They're mirroring what you say you want. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Right. You know, it's gotten so difficult, especially for Black women, to find a Black man that is going to do the things that, you know, you're speaking of, like protecting them, teaching them, leading them, being ahead. That's not what's just out here. You know, you guys are a rare group of men in our community that most people don't even know about. So it's not every, you know, and then when Black women, you know, here in Southern California, I've only encountered Black Hebrew Israelite one time. And I don't know if they're, you know, in the same, you know, nation, you know, school as you guys, but
what color were they wearing?
I do not remember.
But if they were wearing any color besides all black, they wasn't us.
No, they weren't wearing all black, but they were just yelling and just making people uncomfortable. So I think a lot of the Black women, when they see that or they hear that, they're not thinking, oh, this is a place for me to find a husband, because you know, she might just be walking down the street and he's telling her, why does she got this blonde wig on or something. So so they're not necessarily looking where they should be looking if they want to find a husband. And then, you know, they're going to the clubs thinking that they're going to meet a man at the bar or brunch or just all of these events. They always have some like single Black people get together events here in LA. So you have a lot of that going on where people are just basically hooking up and then going on about their day like, oh, girl, it didn't work out. Or, you know, just they're just wasting their time. Right, but or they're going to church thinking that they're gonna meet a man there. When they walk in there, it's like 99% women. And the men that
if I may, sir, I hope these women ain't going to church looking for no man.
They trying, sir.
They gonna find Twan up in there in that church.
You know? Or they're gonna find someone their grandpa's age, their dad's age. You know,
not even so much that. Just if I may, real quick, they're gonna find somebody that's on the down low.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Somebody,
that too.
Somebody that's sleeping with a man. You understand? Yeah. And you said something so heavy, like, you know, most people when they see Israelites, I'm not sure the brothers that you seen, but most people when they see us on the street, they hear us yelling on the mic and whatever, but they not hearing what we saying.
Right.
And we at a point of desperation right now as a people. You know what I'm saying? It's a state of emergency for us as Black couples. You know what I'm saying? We totally enemies towards one another. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: our sisters, they got to start hearing what we saying, because
they don't want to.
But here's the thing: that's the key. What we spewing out on that mic is love.
Right.
The brothers up here, the men in the ISUBK, you listen to me good, sis. We are the foremost lovers of Black women.
That's right.
We are the foremost lovers. And listen,
that's beautiful.
When I made that post, I already knew what was going to happen. That's why I made it. I knew the sisters were going to come for me. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about the man of the Lord is, you know, we built for the job.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You can come for me. You know what I'm saying? The things we say, we know. You know what I'm saying? The ear is not used to hearing. That's right. But you know, we have to be this extreme. You know what I'm saying? Because white supremacy is a very extreme thing that we fighting against. Like how you express, sisters being beat down in this kingdom, black men, but we both been beat down in this kingdom.
Right.
And for us to come up out of this, man, a black man gonna have to be masculine as hell to come up out of this.
Right,
so the things that he say, they gonna be rough to hear. But it's just like medicine back in the day. You know what I'm saying? That medicine, not today's medicine, tastes kind of good.
I know, right? And it's bad for
they
you.
done sweeten it up for the kids. You know what I'm saying? But growing up in the 70s or 80s or 90s, you take that Robitussin. Right, sister, no.
He said it's bitter. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Listen, my point is when you taste it, it tastes nasty as hell. But when you take it that night, but when you wake up in the morning, you no longer sick.
Right.
And in order for black people to be no longer sick, we're gonna have to take the medicine. We're gonna have to take this medicine.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
Hey, if I could piggyback on what you're saying, I don't want.
Go ahead, Priest.
Okay, so I got a couple statistics here. So this is from the 1950s. This is a percentage of African Americans that was African American women above 15 that was married. You know what I'm saying? And the percentage in the country of black women, 67% was married.
Good night.
Over 15. These is women 15 and over. Right. Today's statistics, 70 years later, you know what I'm saying, after the civil rights movement,
everybody love.
After we have all of this education, you know what I'm saying, that the white man has been giving us,
women's liberation,
our society, you know what I'm saying, women's lib, Margaret Sanger, you know what I'm saying, the corners report, different things like that, things that were set up as devices to divide the black family.
I'm scared to hear this number.
I know, right?
Black women today, 27 above 15, above 15 years or over, 27%.
Good night.
Has been married.
Damn.
They rank top in separation at 3%. They rate top in divorce at 13%. They rate top in widows at 8%.
Good night.
And the women that has never been married is 49%.
Good
night. And probably got kids.
Ooh.
Damn.
So go ahead, cause I hear you in the background. Go ahead.
That's a wild. You know, he that's my ad libber right there, man. Yeah, you want to throw in there? The brother be having wisdom when y'all ain't around, man. Hey, but it's like I did want to ask you about for you to hit on when you said that children oppress us. What did you mean by that? Or did you? I think she already went over there, didn't she? Did you answer that?
Oh, children. Well, in the environment that I grew up in, you know, I've seen a lot of my peers just wilding out, you know, and I've seen the stress and just all the chaos that mainly their mothers and their grandmothers were going through, you know, all of the crying, all of the praying, because now the child is gang banging. He's hitting house licks. She done got caught up with some pimping. You know, he's on drugs. You know, there's so many things that the children were getting into at such an early age. When I was in 9th grade, there were girls doing crystal meth, and I'm like, we in 9th grade, like, you know. So it's so many things that I seen growing up in South Central LA that, you know, my peers were doing that, you know, I wasn't doing, but I was, you know, I wasn't trying to get in no trouble at all. But, you know, everyone didn't have that fear of, you know, what their mother or their father was going to say or do if they did these things. So, you know, I just seen a lot of women mainly crying, praying, begging, pleading, going broke, going to visit one of their grandkids in jail, putting money on phones, putting money on books, stressing out how they're going to, you know, raise these kids, because sometimes the parents would just abandon the children, drop them off with an aunt or a sister or a grandma and be gone partying all weekend or just out and about for months at a time. So it was just a lot of, and the way I looked at it was oppression, because it's like, you know, you don't, if especially as a grandmother, you didn't raise your children, and you did your part. Yeah, you have grandchildren, but you don't want to have to just take on your grandchildren because your son or your daughter is not ready to grow up. They don't want to be a parent. You shouldn't have to do that by force. If that's your choice, cool. If you want to do more, then you should. But a lot of the grandmothers, they weren't in the best health. They didn't have enough income to even take care of their grandchildren. But a lot of times that's what was going on. And it didn't seem appealing at all. Like, it's just so much.
If I may, sis, get a sister a hand. What you bringing out? Sis, what you bringing out is so heavy, and you right. Children have been oppressing these black communities for a very long time. And what you said is in the Bible. The Bible said that children would be our oppressors. You understand? And the reason why this is, going back to what we said earlier, when you take that father out of that home, you are now leaving children to discipline themselves. A lot of homes you go into, the little boy 10 years old, he pulling up his pants around, walking around the house like he's the man of the house.
Right.
At 10.
Right.
They tell them that. They tell the children.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying.
You're the man of the house now.
Right. And so which goes to show you that woman has a mental illness to think that putting the father out the home and then making her son the man is okay. We sick as a people, believing this madness. So the only way to combat that is we got to face the one thing that our women don't want to face. That man got to come back in that house.
That's right.
That man is to not be put out that house under no circumstances unless he a Looney Tune or he punching your eyes out.
Right.
Right. There's ways to deal.
Well, there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, but it's ways to deal with even that. You understand? But so when you take that man, the children, guess what? Like you just mentioned, the grandmother's coming in and trying to be the big mama, and they trying to wear some boots that they ain't meant to wear.
Yeah,
grandma can't replace no man.
Ever.
Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what happens when you put that man out and leave a woman and grandma to raise some boys, especially. Grandma and the mama are gonna end up in the courtroom with them coats and big hats on and a purse, and they gonna sit there in that courtroom and listen to their grandson get 100 years in prison.
That's a fact.
Like it, Cap. We had an incoming call, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh, most high Christ. Come with it.
Salaki, 1 second.
Hey,
Go ahead. You with the word? You on the word to the Unwise podcast in conjunction with the round table. Go ahead. You had a question or a comment?
That's what's up. This Officer Kodash Jabbar. Shout out to Captain Marvel Quiet.
Mighty man.
And the brother Yara Dine in the building.
Damn right.
Yeah.
No love for my yard.
He said my yard first.
Oh, my bad. I thought he said Marvel Quiet. So like it, sir.
Oh, so lucky. Yeah, I just wanted to add to what the sister was saying earlier about she was saying something about a lot of oppression and a lot of wickedness that goes on in the household. And I thought of a scripture. I had went to Leviticus 19 and 29. So like when that man gets put out of that household, what happens is the woman is surviving with what she knows, which is probably prostituting herself for the most part. That's what's going on. That's what's being taught in the culture. And what this does, it causes the whole land to be full of wickedness. Leviticus 19:29 says,
That's right.
"Do not
That's
prostitute
right.
thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom." Once you turn one woman into a whore and she wearing provocative clothing, then all of a sudden other women want to wear that because they getting more attention. And then once that spreads, the whole land is full of whoredom. And then
Right.
once the land becomes full of whoredom, it says the land becomes full of wickedness. And this is coming from prostituting one of your daughters and having her wearing provocative clothes. This is why
Damn
man
right.
to be in the household to protect his daughters from even behaving like this. And this, if that man was in the household, this whole land would be totally different. But now we living in a land full of wickedness.
That's right.
That's right.
Damn right.
Damn
Damn
right.
right.
Well, I'm glad you called in for that. For the call.
And if I could bounce off his point, sir, like the whole subject right now is the whole education over being a wife and a mother. You know what I mean? Like we have to consider, like the sister was talking about earlier about going to college. College is the place that a lot of black men and black women get introduced to things that are beyond their station in life.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When you go to college, you get introduced to drugs. Like, let's not sugarcoat anything.
Come on with it.
When you growing up in the black community, you know about smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn near everybody in the black community smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? You know about weeds, you know about alcohol. You hear raps about this. You may hear about a little. But when you go to college, it's readily available for you. Majority of brothers and sisters have experiences in college that they never had when they was in their neighborhood. They never had when they was in college. And then after college, they never have again. You know, brothers and sisters go to college and they get into drugs. They get into high levels of drinking and alcohol abuse. They get into all types of whoredom. They get into LGBTQ lifestyles. You know what I mean? They get into a lot of destructive. Majority of a lot of our sisters. Now, the black community has a high statistic of assaults. A lot of our sisters go to college and get assaulted, and yet it gets breezed past because it's not suitable for the college's image to actually project that. They go to a lot of these frat parties, they go to a lot of these college parties, or just living life on college campus. I know several sisters who were never ever touched in their life until they went to college, and their first sexual experience was an assault. You know what I mean? So, like, we have to understand that the higher educational environment that we're trying to push as a better life is not provided by us. It's provided by our oppressors. There is a very chaotic and volatile environment that we want our children to go in with little to no guidance, with a Shangri-La, la-di-da attitude, and it's predators waiting in that campus. You know what I mean? And then you come out of college damaged. You come out of college with a scarred and viewed perspective that you shouldn't have. And you also get pushed in your mind that if you want to be successful in this society, you have to leave behind your people that are of lower education, that didn't go to college with you, instead of reaching back. If you look back in this 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, until the 60s, when we had so-called civil rights movement, our brothers and sisters from the 1900s on up would go to college, and then they would come back, and the doctors and the lawyers would live in our neighborhoods. The store owners lived in our neighborhoods. But then after we got civil rights and we got women's liberation and we got all of this free thinking in modern day society views, now you can't live amongst your people once you become successful. You know what I mean? Because now the narrative is in your head that they're going to rob you, that they're going to take advantage of you. They're going to break in your house. Back in the days, our brothers and sisters went to college. Mostly our brothers and sisters went to college to come back to the community to provide for the community. Now we have brothers and sisters that go to college and make 100,000, 200,000 to become actors, entertainers, athletes. You know what I mean? And they leave our community and they go and take their dollars and they take their money to another community and they marry another racist woman or they marry another racist man, and they do nothing to provide for us. It just leaves our community in a perpetually degenerative state.
Damn right. Goddamn right. All right, Salakia. We're gonna have to get our closing comments. Hey sis, if you want to come back on the show, do a part 2, get off into any of the subjects that we have and you want to speak, that's perfectly fine. Hit me up, we can get into it. Round Table of Truth, they always dropping something heavy. Not heavy as ours, but you know it's heavy though. But yeah, man, you shout out to y'all, man. Give them y'all information again one time, Cap.
You can catch us every Friday night on the Round Table of Truth on YouTube, Facebook. All you gotta do is put Round Table of Truth with ISUBK. And you should find us. We deal with topics like this every episode. You know what I'm saying? So we every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, we everywhere. You know what I mean? Doing this, man, because you know these type of issues, man. They got to be dealt with. And again, I want to say the water to both of you brothers for inviting me and my brothers. You know what I mean? On for the night. Also for water to the sister. The sister that means thank you in the Hebrew. We appreciate you and. You want to come on our show and you want to do some work with us, we looking forward to it.
Damn right.
Right.
Definitely. I'm definitely open
your closing
to that.
comments, sis. Let them know where they can find you. You want to promote whatever you got going on. Go ahead.
I'm mainly on Instagram at beforemoneybae_. I have a Facebook, but I don't think I can accept any more friends. So it's just mainly Instagram. BEFOREMONEYBAE_. But I do appreciate you inviting me to discuss, and I would like to come back because there's so much more that needs to be discussed, you know, as far as solutions, you know, if the colleges that our people are going into are, you know, counterproductive, then we need to be discussing how do we have our own colleges. We don't have any grocery stores that are local, or you know, in every state there's food deserts are mostly affecting us. So those are problems that we need to discuss. We don't have enough dental offices that are catering to us, so we have no choice just to take the mercury fillings that they offer. There's no hospitals that are Black owned and operated just by us, and our women are suffering, especially during labor and delivery. We're being told that we're not in as much pain as we are. We need way more schools that are Black owned. You know, we need our own fire department because, you know, back then, if they got a call and it was a Black family, they might ignore it. So we don't need that happening. We need police stations. We need our own stores, our clothing manufacturers, because the fabrics that we're wearing.
Save it for part.
All right. It's a lot that we need.
Sister, hey, the sister ready to go in.
Let's get it.
Well, yeah, part 2 for sure, because there's many things that we need to touch on.
Hey, Kazak, let me can I say one last thing?
Sir.
Man, listen, just to you know, bring home the point. Sisters, we want to encourage y'all, go out there, get them degrees.
Damn right.
You understand?
Damn right.
Go out there, get that money, get to them bags, right? But come back to your brothers with them degrees and with that money and build up your people. That's all we're saying.
Right.
You understand? We ain't telling you don't get that. Get it and come back to your community and be a wife and a mother.
That's right.
You understand? And we'll build Black people up overnight.
Right.
Shalom.
Shalom, Israel.
You know this, you set you free.
Born to raise the dead. This ain't rap, this shit education. Feel like David Ruffin, had to walk away from my temptation. Steady elevating with every step. I guess I'm escalating. Still, this Mac will hit you like a truck if it escalated. Silly niggas wearing buckets, trusting in emancipation. We need separation, cause your Howard ordained segregation. I be teaching the teachers and seeking the seekers. We in the game, these fake groups be all in the bleachers.
It feel good to get set free. Home of the truth, the place where I'd rather be. I'ma do it right and they ain't taking back streets. Hardcore warfare, this is life of a priest. And we don't bow down to our enemies. And if they hated Christ, then call me Chris, cause they gon' hate me. It behoove you to listen for your safety. I don't swear to God, but this shit ain't safe, B. The earth was given to the wicked, can't you fucking see? Get everything for the truth, count your life cheap. Married to the game, the truth is my wifey. That shit forever, nigga, that's how life be. They was nevers with us, blood type, AB. All bitch, nigga, that's all I see. The devil's destination gon' be slavery. Real Jew, nigga, the kingdom was made for me.